Hi everyone, and welcome once again to Ruby's Classic Cooking. And today I'm going to do a stuffed pork tenderloin. Yesterday I was grocery shopping and I picked up this pork tenderloin, which is on special this week for $4.40 a pound or $8.80 a kilo. And this piece right here cost me $9.13. So this is two pork tenderloins, so I'm going to cut this open. I'm going to put one in the freezer for later, and the other one my husband and I are going to have for supper tonight. So I'm just going to cut this open and start mixing up my stuffing, which I have to fry in front of you here, and then I'll show you how it goes. Anyway, let's get going here with this, getting this pork tenderloin out of here. Right, here's my two pork tenderloins, and since there's only two of us, one will be plenty. In fact, we'll probably have some extra. Just going to dry this off a little bit, not because it's bloody, but just because I just like to dry it off. It'll take the flour better when I flour it and so on. Okay, so these are about the same size, I would say. I'll just take the thicker one and put that in put the thinner one in the bag and put that in the freezer. All right. I'll just put this one in the freezer in the kitchen for now. Take it downstairs to the freezer and down in the basement later. Okay, well, I'm just going to slice this. I'm going to split this lengthwise. I'm going to tip this camera down a bit so you can see what I'm doing here. There we go. And I'm just going to split this lengthwise, cutting it almost all the way through, but not quite all the way through. There we go. Leave room for my stuffing in here in the middle. I'm just going to put this to one side while I prepare my stuffing. That's going over here. I'm going to dice up 2 tablespoons of onion. Well, it should be about 2 tablespoons of onion. It doesn't have to be perfect, you know, you're not doing this for a competition or anything, it's just for dinner for the family, you know. Okay, see how that measures up here? Oh, here's 1 tablespoon. There we go, there's 2 tablespoons. Pack that down, there we go. All right, perfect. Alrighty. 2 tablespoons of butter in my frying pan, and I'm going to be adding my 2 tablespoons of onion. As soon as I melt this butter here, I'll be adding my 2 tablespoons of onion I just chopped, and I have chopped up a bunch of celery from the other day, so I'll be adding 2 tablespoons of chopped celery to that. Here's my butter. So now add my 2 tablespoons of onion that I just measured over here, and you cook this until your onion gets transparent. And you add your 2 tablespoons of celery to it. And then you start adding in your other ingredients to the stuffing. 2 tablespoons of celery. I already have this chopped up in the fridge, so just making use of what I've got on hand. Now I'm just going to cook this until this onion is translucent. And then you start adding the other ingredients. I'm going to turn my heat down because it says fry slowly. So I'm just going to slow that down a little bit. That's on medium, so I'll turn that down to low. And let's see. While I'm waiting on that, I'll get my apple prepared. You don't want to brown these onions, you just want them to be translucent and sweated. I believe that they call that. And that's getting very translucent looking. I'm supposed to add in 2 cups of soft breadcrumbs, which I'm adding in here. I just kind of chopped up about 4 slices of bread here. I just kind of cut them into a very fine dice. And I'm supposed to have this apple shredded, but I'm just going to dice this apple up quite finely here. I'm just going to give this apple a rough dice here, rough chop up here. My apple in here on top. There we go. Apple and breadcrumbs mixed in here. These are Macintosh apples, so they should cook up and cook down soft really easily. It says in the recipe to use coarsely grated, but I think this will do the job even though it's just coarsely chopped, because this is a very soft cooking apple and it will cook up very quickly. To this I'm going to add a tablespoon of parsley. There we go. I'm going to add a half a teaspoon of thyme. There we go. 1 teaspoon of salt. 1 teaspoon of salt, and I'm going to use my pink Himalayan rock salt. I'm going to use my pink Himalayan rock salt for this today. And a little bit of pepper. Just a few grains. If you like more, add more. That's the nice thing about cooking your own food, is that you don't have to go with the seasoning somebody else likes or the recipe likes. You can just add your own seasoning to it, to your taste. Turn that up a bit. Now my breadcrumbs have absorbed all my butter. I haven't made this recipe in a while, so it may be that I may have too much here for my pork, but that's okay. If I do, then I have. That's all. Let's give you a little peek in my pan here, so you see what's going on here. There you go. Got all of my dressing ingredients in here. Metric people, don't worry, because when I do this recipe up, I'll make sure I put all the metric equivalents down below. Okay, so just let that fry up for a few minutes. And I already have my oven on preheating to 325 degrees Fahrenheit, which I think is 163 Celsius, but it'll be in the description box below. A tablespoon is 15 milliliters, so give you an idea of how much I'm adding to this. And while I'm waiting on that, I have to rub this when it's all put together in seasoned flour. So I've taken about half a cup of flour here, and I'll just add a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper to that. So I'll have my seasoned flour to roll it in. Then I'll be getting my stuffed pork loin into the oven. Here, a little bit of pepper, a little bit of salt. I'll add a little bit more thyme to that. Like, you know, I'm just kind of sprinkling stuff in here. A little bit of dry mustard, because dry mustard goes really nice with pork. There we go. I've just kind of done a little sprinkle of everything in here. And I'll just take my fingers here and mix this together so that it's all ready to go on to dredge my pork tenderloin in once I've got my stuffing in. Okay, that's probably good enough. Say it's ready to stuff my pork with. Okay. I've got my heat-proof thing here on my counter to protect my counter from this hot pan. And I'll just take my pork tenderloin here and open it up. And then I'll just take my stuffing. I'm just going to stuff my pork with it. There we go. Right in the middle of my pork roast here. Alrighty. That's yummy bits of celery and onion. And there we go. I'm having a little trouble getting some up here at the end. Now I'm just going to take my pork tenderloin and I'm just going to put some of this dredging flour on it, because I don't think I can tie that up with string and get that done. I'm going to have to do this a bit backwards, I'm afraid. I may have gone a little crazy with the stuffing. I'm just going to put this on here, rub this on here. Roll this pork up with the stuffing inside of it. All butterflied open here. I'm going to cook this to an internal temperature of 185 degrees Fahrenheit, which is, not sure, which I will certainly be telling you how much that is in Celsius in my recipe. There's my stuffed pork roast, and I tie that up with butcher's string. I may still have to do that, but I might use a skewer to hold that together instead of butcher's string. If you've got some butcher's twine, use that. Okay, now I'm going to put this in my 325 degree oven for, let's see, how long does it say to cook it? An hour and a half. I'm going to cook that in my oven for an hour and a half. Look like. looks. I'll be back to show you what the final pork roast looks like. And there it is. Stuffed pork tenderloin. Hi everyone, and welcome back. And here's my roast after an hour and a half in the oven, and it's testing at medium. So medium pork is great. So I'm just going to put this on my cutting board and see what it looks like. I may let it sit for a few minutes to, if you want it well done, just let it sit for about 10 minutes, and then it will, the internal temperature will bring your meat up to well done. Anyway, I'm going to use this to lift it up. Onto my cutting board. My finished roast. Let me just bring in a little closer here. Here it is, my finished pork tenderloin. Let's give this a little slice up here, see how it turned out. Oh, look at that. Perfectly done. Look at that. Nicely done. I'll just serve that up with some filling from the stuffing from the middle here. Look at that. Lovely chunks of pork. All right. Well, I'm going to serve this up for supper now, and I'll take some still pictures of what it looks like. And I hope you enjoyed this video today, and you'll like, subscribe, give this recipe a try, and feed it to your family, and I hope they enjoy. And make some comments below if you try it and see how your family likes it. Anyway, I hope you'll come back and watch me next time on Ruby's Classic Cooking. Bye for now.